Welcome, everybody, to the Lore and Legacy Interest Meeting. We are so glad that you're here. And Angela and I this has just been something that God has birthed. And we are a Christian publishing house. I'm going to let you guys know that straight off the top. So, for any of you that need to know that, I mean, all of you guys, we work with a lot of authors that are Christian. Not all of our stories that we publish are Hallmark. Like, we want gritty stories. We want real stories. We want redemptive stories. So our tagline is write dangerously, redeem fiercely. And I love that. Angela came up with that one. And I just, every time I say it, I love it. So I went up for prayer probably a couple months ago. And this lady gave me a prophetic word as I went up for prayer. And I just want to share this with you because it just was super impactful. And it was, I don't know if you've ever been up for prayer, but it wasn't just what she said, but it was how she said it. She said, storytelling is the most significant form of communication and transformation in culture now in this day and age. You might say, hey, there's so many books out there. Why write another book? The narrative needs to stay fresh for what God is doing now. And I just really resonated with that because, Jesus talked in a lot of parables, and like he was constantly giving them stories of their day. So your book was meant to leave a legacy, not get buried in the algorithm. So we're going to be talking about not just only writing your book, but publishing it, and even more importantly, marketing, because that's the part that really is weak with a lot of authors. It's weak in a lot of the publishing houses. So we're going to be going into that today in the interest meeting. I'm Sherry Ward. I'm the CEO and founder of Lore and Legacy Press and Square Tree Publishing and Productions. I'm also the founder of Christian Creators 360, author of Launching You, and I was featured on Good Morning America and a host of other different shows. One of the fun things I get to work on in this season of my life has been 2 sci-fi thrillers, shorts. We are in the process of another one right now that is looking really good. The second one just won about a month ago, won 2 film festival awards at different film festivals. So we're in the film festival circuit right now doing that. And I've had over a decade of experience with launching authors. So it's probably been 11 years now that I've been in publishing. So I want to introduce Angela to you as well. So Angela.
Hi, I'm Angela, and I am a fantasy writer. I have 3 books published, the Once and Future Chronicles, and I have 2 more publishing this year. I have a paranormal thriller and another historical fantasy that is going to be publishing. And I love coaching other authors. I like releasing them. I believe that writing and storytelling is not just a hobby. I believe it's a calling. I believe our words are important. And I love helping other authors attach to that passion and a good solid why as to why their books need to be written and why it's important that they do get written and published with excellence. And I am a super high fantasy nerd. I enjoy storytelling. I enjoy fantasy, sci-fi, and just really good, powerful stories. And it's really essential and important to me also that, whether you are overt in your Christianity or covert, that you tell a story that has impact. And that we're telling stories that are actually creating culture. And I think that's kind of the power of storytelling, is that we are creating culture, that we are creating ideas with our stories. And so that's something that's really important to me. I know for me, I've gone as deep as studying histories and other languages. I learned Welsh in order to write some of my books. And I really encourage authors to really enjoy just the art and the craft of storytelling and why God gave us the calling in the first place. So that's me in a nutshell. I have a podcast called The Ink Mages, where we interview fiction, fantasy, sci-fi authors, as well as giving editing tips. And most recently, both myself and my podcast partner went to the Forever Twilight and Forks as guest speakers to that convention there and got to have our books at that convention. And that was kind of just a really amazing position to get to be in and see our books really making the impact that we've been wanting them to. So again, that's just kind of where I've started, and I'm going to continue to forge ahead.
So we really wanted to share vision. I know a lot of times on these kind of sessions, it's all about, me, but I really want to focus on the vision, like where did this all come from? And it started at the Christian Creators 360 event that I put on in Orlando, Florida, January of this year. And the word the Lord gave me was the Tower of Babel, and I labeled it the Babel blunder. And the Tower of Babel, when they built the Tower of Babel, they went after three things. They went after building a tower, a city, and a name for themselves. And in this day and age, we've got AI that's on the scene right now. And it's so similar to what we do now. We just don't call it a tower. The name for it is a platform, same thing. So a lot of us are going after our platform and building our platforms. And they went after it for the wrong reasons. But what it says in Genesis is, it says, the Lord said, if they have begun to do this as one people, then nothing they devise will be beyond them. But I feel like the opposite of that is true as well, that they were building it for the wrong reasons and building a name for themselves. But what we're going after is one people, like coming together as a collective unit to go after writing these stories together and building it together, but not for our own names and not for our own fame, but to lead people to God and redemptive stories that give them hope and encouragement. It's not your story that's holding you back. It's what comes after the writing process that no one prepares you for. Like everybody's so focused on the book, the book, the book, the book, the book. But it's like a lot of times they publish the book and then it's like, wah, wah, like what happened after the book. So what we are creating, and we want to be really clear on this, is we are a publishing house. We know that other people have published with other publishing houses, but there's a crossover in what we're calling the collective. And I want Angela to talk a little bit about this.
Yes, so with Lore and Legacy, we want to publish amazing fantasy, sci-fi, fiction books. But as the collective, we also want to create an answer for what to do next and how to even build in the process of writing our books. And one of the things that we've come up with, I don't know if you guys can hear that. I have thunder and lightning in the background. So hopefully you're not hearing that. It's very loud in my room. But the collective is a place that we get to come together and really forge ahead into what it looks like to build a platform, what it looks like to marketing, what it looks like in helping our books be seen, and really running with each other. One of the things that is highlighted to me is in the book of Acts, when it talks about they all came together one in one mind and no one lacked anything. And I think that's important for us to keep in mind because we are all kingdom writers, authors, and there's room enough at the table for all of us. For everything that we're doing, God has created that pathway. There is enough. And so with the collective, we have this mentality that there is room for all of us and us going together actually as a unit, helping support one another. Even, when some of us are signing up for awards, some of us are going deeper in our book, or maybe we need support. Maybe we need to all give a little to help each one of us kind of go into deeper levels with our book, to help our books be seen and with purpose. One of the things that I really like to do with authors is help us understand why we're writing our books in the first place and really center in on our calling and what we're doing on social media, what we're doing with our marketing, what we're doing with writing our books. Because when we have a why and we're not just jumping in the fray of all the other thousands of authors that are out there, just doing all of the things that are trending online that just swallow you up in the midst of everything, but literally rising above and being seen outside of all the mess and the chaos because we're clear about what we're doing. And so that's kind of what we do. We have authors who may already be published, and we have some authors who are going to be coming in through Lore and Legacy Press. Everyone gets vetted. who comes in to part of the collective, which again, to me is the hugest piece that we offer here moving forward with all of your books.
So Lore Legacy is a publishing house, yes, but it's more than that. So what we're going to also talk about is the publishing house and what's included in that and how it's different. And then we're also going to talk about the collective as well of that whole marketing group that we're coming together to form. So Angela, do you want to, this is my favorite piece because I think this is one out of a few things that are really going to make us stand out as different.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces as well, because like we mentioned at the beginning of the call, there's going to be some of us writing more covertly and some of us writing more direct Christian stories. I know that some of my stories are not necessarily just in your face Christian stories, though they have a redemptive feel. But as such, we want parents and people who pick up Lore and Legacy books to have a clear understanding of what kind of book they're grabbing off the bookshelf. That just because we're a Christian publishing company doesn't mean that maybe these books are appropriate for their 12-year-old. And so that authors who are called to write more gritty stories can write those stories and parents can feel good about what we're offering them. I love to use Braveheart as an example. Is a really powerful, gritty story. It's violent. It has a lot of really graphic details about what happened in William Wallace's life and just the warfare. It doesn't necessarily end with a happy ending, but a triumphant ending. And I think it's important to keep in mind that those kind of stories are the kind of stories that we also want to be including in our repertoire. Like we said, we don't want all of our stuff to be Hallmark. We want our stuff really making an impact and, you know, making movies and making powerful series and being the kind of book that anybody would want to grab off the bookshelf. But this is what we've created so that we could be a trusted source in the Christian community and with parents, is that we have a ranking system. And I love our ranking system. So L1 is light and wholesome, which means it would be a book suitable for all ages, no profanity, no violence, no mature themes, ideal for middle grader readers. And then we have our L2. So this would be similar to like in the movies where you have a G, PG, PG-13, and R rating. We have noble and brave, which would be our more like our PG rating system, which is mild peril, thematic elements, minimal non-graphic violence, no suggestive comment, suitable for older middle grade and young adult readers. And then we have our L3, which is fierce and just. So this would be like PG-13. And our editors will actually be looking at our books and determining these rating systems as people come in. Moderate action and violence within storytelling. Dark themes may be present, but the hero remains on a path toward redemption and light. Romance is clean, no explicit content. And then we have our L4, shadow and redemption. Reserved for mature adult fiction. There is intense themes, maybe some heavier violence, though we don't want to glorify that violence. Like if there's a purpose for that violence, we need to have it, but not just to glorify, just to be graphic. And there may be darker struggles, but the story may always uphold light, overcoming darkness, no explicit sexual content. So with this rating system, parents and even readers know exactly what they're picking up off the bookshelf.
This is my favorite part because it's going to allow us to go after the readers and to be able to give, especially parents, if there's, if they want to know if it's appropriate for their child to read it. The real problem is, why do great books stay invisible? This is the way I've seen it go down a lot, is you wrote the story, no one's reading it. It's not your fault. The hardest part isn't the writing, it's getting seen. It's actually the marketing is the hardest part. And isolation is the biggest killer of momentum. So what do most authors do? I call it the write and pray trap. They publish in hope. They post on social media. They get crickets. I see some people shaking their head. They try to run ads. They waste the money. They feel discouraged, stuck all alone and giving up. And you know what happens after that? They just go write the next book. I'm just going to go write the next book. That tends to be what happens. The hidden cost of isolation. You wrote the book, you waited for sales, you made $87. Okay, so maybe you made 300, you know, but you get the point of you're doing it alone, you're going it alone. Even in the publishing houses, I've done a ton of research on what other publishing houses are doing for the marketing, and it's very little. A lot of times they'll sell you on a big marketing package, or the big houses will just put most of their money towards their top authors, and you get very little, kind of like crumbs on the backside. So if you have no platform and no marketing, you could sell like 0 to 25 copies. If it's a basic launch with friends and family, maybe up to 100 copies. If it's an active launch, you've done all the things right, maybe up to 300 copies. But when we're forming this collective, what I felt like the Lord was saying to me about 3 years ago during one of our challenges on Facebook was, He cares more about launching you than He cares about launching the book. We've had authors that have been completely launched in ways they never saw coming. I have one that was that had lupus, that started doing lobbyist work in Washington, D.C. After she wrote her book, she partnered with her doctor. Her doctor gave her an endorsement for the book. I've had another gal who spoke to the United Nations of El Salvador. Like, you just don't know the open doors. It's not always about the book sales. It's about what doors are going to be open to you and launching you for speaking, for all sorts of things that a lot of our authors never saw coming. So the breakthrough is the hidden piece every author needs to know. So what we're doing is a collective of driven authors. So it's no more going alone. You're fueled by strategy, not confusion and overwhelm, and it's designed to launch you, not just your book. So what we have, that overlap that you saw in that picture, is whether you want to get published with Learn Legacy, we can talk about that, or you're published with another publishing house. The middle ground is this collective that we're creating. And the collective is an invite-only membership of daring fiction authors who are done writing in isolation and ready to be read, remembered, and unleashed. Angela likes that word, unleashed. All right, so who is this for? It's for redemptive fiction authors who are writing either covert or overt stories with redemptive messages, those that are tired of doing it alone, and those that are ready to grow their platform. What we are not looking for, we do not take any horror or erotica stories. We don't want people that just want to do it alone and self-publish all by themselves. And those that aren't willing to invest in themselves to pursue their calling. So that's what we're looking for Learn Legacy. So there's a few things that you'll gain after joining Learn Legacy, and it's the visibility that actually works, your momentum, your opportunities, and you're going to ditch that solo struggle. I've seen so many authors. I'm in a very unique position because I get to see all the authors and I can see trends and what happens. And a lot of them like, I want my copyright. I want 100% of my royalties. I want everything. I want everything. I want everything. It's like, great, here you go. You've got everything. And then they don't do anything with it. So it's like, okay, well, you've got 100% of little. You've got 100% of very little book sales. So what we want to do is come together as a group and help one another out. So what the collective is all about is being seen. So we're going to help you get spotlighted in email, social, and other things, and readers lists. We're going to put together some group Facebook ads that's backed by Learn Legacy. We're going to get you on some podcasts to be seen with your books as well. And then you're going to be coached. So we have weekly fiction cohorts led by Angela. So we have a lot of different cohorts, but the fiction one is led by Angela. And we're going to have a monthly marketing coaching that really moves the needle. So we're going to take some of the common things that we see authors fall down on, and we're going to build them up on those monthly marketing coaching calls. We're also going to equip you. So you're going to have some on-demand courses. We've already got them ready to go in the membership portal right now. And then live trainings with industry experts. One of my really good friends that I'm making movies with right now just hit the 1 million books sold mark. And so we're going to bring him on. Hopefully I can get him now that he's making movies. It's harder to get his time, but we want to bring in people that are crushing it, and what are they doing, and how are they getting their books out there, and some tips for the group. We want to position you. So we want to go after some awards. We want to have everybody in the collective vote for you. We're going to use that group and that unity to really, it's not all boats float. All the rising tide. We want to make sure everybody comes up and like Angela said earlier, like there's room at the table for everybody. We want to go to conferences. We're already looking into Realm Makers right now. That's happening in a few months. And going there, setting up a booth, we can do it together, what that looks like. Also done for you templates for funnels. So we want to start helping you guys create book funnels. If you're not sure what a book funnel is, have you ever bought a book and they're like, hey, do you want to get a free masterclass or a free workbook or any of those things are funnels. Those are very expensive to build. My funnel builder, whenever I have her build me out a funnel, is $2,500 just for a funnel. So we're going to be including that within what we offer as well as some book funnels so we can get you guys going on some of the marketing piece. So how the author collective is different than the big publishers who expect you already to be famous. I've done some research and the big publishing houses usually don't pick up anybody that doesn't have an email list of at least 10,000 people. So a lot of people dream about being with the big publishers, but they already want you to have the marketing dialed in. They're just coming behind you with their name and their group to publish it. But the marketing piece, again, is a lot of the money is spent on the top authors that they have. And they expect you to do a ton of the marketing. Back in the day, it used to be like, hey, we'll pay for, book signings and for you to go to all these places. They don't do that anymore. Some of them will give you an advance. Very rarely do you get large advances anymore. And if you don't sell enough books, you have to pay back your advance. So if you don't sell enough to make what they gave you up front, then you have to pay back whatever that difference is. They also, I think for royalties, you're looking at about 5 or 10% for royalties and they keep the rest. So how are we different? There's some other things we're going after. One thing, like we said, is the ranking system that we talked about. The other thing that we're going after is authors and readers at the same time. So that seems to be hard for the authors to focus in on like nurturing their readers, writing their email list, like talking to their readers, posting all the time on social, like all that stuff's really challenging for a lot of authors. So we're going to be going after the readers and start developing that as well. I have a model with Jonathan, who's my friend, who has Shelf Life Sci-Fi. And in his website, 7 guys that were all sci-fi's authors got together, started running some Facebook ads to it. And now I think it's been 3 to 5 years. They've got 35,000 people on their list as readers. So I'm going to use that example and I'm going after bringing in readers for everybody for Lore and Legacy. So that's what we're going to go after. So we're building up the authors with the coaching, the training, the marketing, and all of that. And then I'm also simultaneously going to be going after the readers. And we've already got the URL reserved. We're going to start building out the website, and it's called nobleread.com. I am also going after parents as well that want clean reads for their kids and to know that ranking system for the books. So for the collective, there will be a membership portal. So everything that we talked about will be in the membership portal. All the Zoom links to the live calls and the cohorts and everything, the trainings, everything will be in that membership portal. So for the collective, be seen, be coached, be equipped, be positioned, all of that kind of stuff is $5,100. I am not inflating that. I know a lot of times people will inflate that. I probably undervalued it because like I said, those funnels, I pay personally for my company $2,500 to build out my funnels alone. That's not including the graphics team and everything else to come up with all the graphics that go into it. The Facebook ad agencies usually start at $2,000 a month. And that's kind of averaging about $5 grand, $10 grand a month, between 10 and 2,000 and 10,000 a month just for the agency. That's not including the ads. So with the collective, again, you're going to have the benefit of having our agency. We're going to be running some of the ads, that sort of thing for your books. So what we're charging for the collective is $1,594 for that for the first 6 months. And then Linda said, after drowning in self-publishing, nothing turned out the way I thought it would. Lauren Legacy gave me structure, professional guidance, and a team that believed in me. For the first time, I feel like a real author with real momentum and part of something bigger than my books. It's been a complete game changer. So what we're doing right now is we just launched this a couple months ago. We already have an entire group that has come on and given their yes, and they've come on board already. So we are doing a founders round, and there's going to be some special benefits for that as well. So what we're going to do is, until I stop the founders round, and I don't know when I'm going to do that. That's not a fancy pitch or anything else. I don't know yet. It's going to feel right to move on. We did have our first group that just came on board 2 weeks ago. But we're going to take 50% off for the founders round. So that will take that price down. You're also going to get a bonus session with Angela. That's $500 worth of working with her. She's going to set up the basics, like wherever you're at. You're already published, great. Let's analyze and do an audit of what you're currently doing and what you need to work on. If you don't have the book done yet, like, okay, where do we get started with that? So wherever you're at, she's going to audit where you're at and give you some step-by-step guidelines on what you need to do next. So Angela, I'd love for you to talk about Stephanie, because this is one of my favorite stories.
So I got the chance, this is my partner that does the podcast with me, Stephanie Cotta. Her and I do this podcast together. We have been authors together. We started authoring together. We started publishing our books together. And she is a professional author. She has books published. She has got more books publishing. And she is a professional editor. And in our relationship, we've just been running together this whole time. And when she signed up for the collective and I was going to have a vision call with her, there was a piece of me that went, this is going to be kind of different, kind of vision coaching a friend of mine that I've known since I started doing this. But what was so amazing was we had never had a conversation, the two of us, about what her why and what everything that she was building was leading unto, and just starting to unlock some of the potential, unlock some of the ideas, the overall why, maybe even why God was calling her to write in the first place, started just relieving so much discouragement she'd had about spending all of this time building her platform, building all of the marketing that she had, written all the books that she's already had published, and just feeling like it wasn't going anywhere and kind of feeling a little purposeless, like, why am I doing this? And that's exactly why we had the vision call, because I'm going to help you understand why. And as we were diving into this, she got emotional and she had tears over it, because it unlocked so much to give her a direction that she didn't have before. And honestly, for me, it was a privilege to get to be a part of that in her life. Another level of our friendship, another level of helping her write and really become the professional author that she wants to become. And it was just an amazing opportunity. And honestly, with every single person that I meet with, it's an amazing opportunity, because there's not one person that I met with that hasn't had that aha moment. Where they, for the first time, look at everything that they're doing and they go, oh man, I couldn't see this, now I can. And just collecting all of our thoughts that are out here, and putting them all together, and just really even seeing God in the midst of it. So this is one of my favorite things that I do. And it's something that really creates the tip of the arrow moving forward into the collective. As we start talking about building platforms and we start talking about marketing and all of the things that we do, having this at the very start of it. So yeah, this was one of my favorite experiences too, getting to meet with Stephanie, someone who I was already familiar with, thought that I knew so well, and yet getting this golden moment with her and seeing the light bulb go off for her.
I'd love in the comments, like, how many of you love marketing? probably most of you don't. I would love to see in the comments because that tends to be where like all the authors fall down because they love to write, but not all love to do the marketing piece. So I love that story. The second one is we're going to be doing again some Facebook placements and on Instagram. And so that is, I put it at 1,500, but again, the agencies start at 2,000, and that's not even including the ads. So we are going to put some of those together. I don't know how many yet, but we are going to start moving towards that with the authors to promote their books. So that's another bonus that you get. So Anna said, I love Anna. She's brand new to us. And she said, joining the Lauren Legacy Collective broke an 8-month battle with writer's block. And she's a really good writer, by the way, and reignited my passion to write. It gave me momentum, accountability, and a creative community I didn't know I needed. There's a rare level of trust here, and I'm confident that they'll take me to the next level. All right, so I've added in the 2 bonuses on this as well. So this is the total price with those 2 bonuses that we have as well. And then the process, what is the process? So the very first thing that we need to see from you is your writing. So do you have to have a full manuscript? No. We would love to see at least the first 3 chapters of something that you've written. And we're calling it a story strategy with a professional feedback. So with this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to give you professional feedback because a lot of authors will send in their material to a publishing house and they just get this big fat no letter, but with no feedback of how can I improve or how could you accept it at a later day. Like there's no way for them to get better, to get approved or even know what that publisher is looking for. So we're going to be doing that story strategy, professional feedback assessment that we're going to be giving you back. At that point, by invitation only, we're going to invite people to join Lauren Legacy Collective. So it's going to be the story strategy first, then an invite, and then publishing. So if you do want to publish, great. You're more than welcome at that point. If you've got the invitation to join, that's your golden ticket to come. But if you already are with another publishing house, then you would stay with the collective. Either way is fine. So again, that overlaps. So Lauren Legacy Press, the other press, and then the collective marketing. So you can think of it as a marketing arm where we're all in it together and we're leveraging each other's contacts. So for example, 2 of my authors just landed documentaries. One of them was the producer liked her story so much that he made it the finale of his documentary. And then the second one is Dr. Jonathan Clark, and he is a Western doctor that also does holistic medicine, and he got on a documentary as well. So it was coming together and leveraging our contacts to help one another. So the story strategy with the professional feedback, you're going to get expert feedback on your first 3 chapters of your manuscript. You're going to get strategic insight on your story structure, pacing, voice, and messaging. And you're going to walk away with actionable next steps and clarity on the market readiness, like how marketability wise, how good is this, what you can do, and some tips. So your very first step is this professional feedback and story strategy with your first 3 chapters, and that's $297. So that is everyone's first step. We need to go through your writing and see what it looks like and some feedback that we can give you. Nobody has to be perfect. You can just chuck the perfectionism out the window, but we do want to see that you're on the right track and on the right road for that. And then we can give you some honest feedback as well. So if you'd like to join the collective and that first free strategy session, then let me go back. It's laurenlegacypress.com/strategy. So Angela, can you put that in the comments for me, please? So that's where you can go sign up for that first step. And then the 100% of that will be credited towards the collective. So once you get past that and you get the invitation to join the collective, I'll credit that towards the collective, which is going to drop that to 1,297. And then you could do a 6-pay plan for 249 as well if you want that, if you'd like that payment plan instead. So we're trying to make it very accessible. This is our founders rate and our founders round that we're doing right now. So again, the first step is the strategy session. At that point, we will be sending out we'll give you feedback. We'll be sending out the invitations, and then I'll credit that back if you would like to join the collective. And then also if you want to publish as well. So here's some common questions that I'm going to go over, and then I'll open it up for questions. So what if I already have a publisher? That's totally okay. That's fine. What if I'm still writing my book? Not a problem. We also have these fiction writing cohorts that's included in the collective. So you're more than welcome to join those. Do I have to write overtly Christian fiction? No. As long as it has a redemptive message. Somebody once told me this saying, and I really liked it. They said, if good is good and evil is evil and good overcomes evil, then it's a good story. How do I join the collective? It's by special invitation, and you have to do the story strategy with the professional feedback as your very first step. So that is, again, that will be credited back to you, and that is the link to start the process. And we just wanted to be transparent up front with what the whole thing looks like. And then I'll totally open it up for questions. And Angela, if you could drop the link once again in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and close that